Good morning YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. As promised, I thought I'd do a colour with me in Dragonology, this beautiful book. And those of you that have watched the flip through, which is in my playlist of flip throughs, will know that I had selected Dracosaurus or Draconsaurus Rex as my colour with me page. I'll move my sticky note. Now, I've planned it all out as usual because I'm too nervous to just sort of ad-lib and go with the flow. I need to know that it's going to come out okay. If I read you what it says about this dragon, let's go here. It says, one of the last prehistoric species of dragon, D. rex is affectionately known, seems to have evolved to prey evolved to prey almost exclusively on Homo sapiens. These early humans provide such easy pickings that D. rex gradually lost its ability to fly or breathe fire, relying instead on its vicious teeth and claws to ensure victory over its prey. Despite its huge size, D. rex's lack of intelligence proved its greatest drawback when Homo sapiens invented the spear, and thus it soon became extinct. While even the most experienced dragonologists can only speculate, some theorise that D. rex evolved to blend in with its surroundings by having sky blue scales underneath and green colouring above. Unfortunately, during the volcanic explosions of the upper Paleolithic, the sky blue parts may have made them stand out all too clearly against the soot-darkened skies, making them clearer targets for spear-wielding humans. Excuse my reading, that's because I'm a bit nervous. So, this little guy big guy went extinct because he wasn't clever enough to outwit us humans. Now it says in the back here that because his scales here are blue, that he stood out against the soot-darkened skies. So I thought we'd start with the background, and because I want to use pastels to make that smoky effect, so I can then seal the pastel and then do the neo colours. And if I go over him slightly with the pastels, then I can rub him out before it's fixed. So let's get started. The last time I showed you my beautiful packet of Faber-Castell, let me get the cover, Faber-Castell 72 soft pastels. They were in perfect condition and perfect, just how they'd come in the order. Well, after filming that video, I dropped the entire box and I was devastated. So they didn't fare too badly. I've got a couple of breakages, but I lost the order in which they came in. But it's no big deal because these colours don't have names. But I need the sky in the background to be a bright blue because I'm going to go over it with a smoky grey. And what I'd ordered recently was these little stippling brushes from Amazon. I got a pack of three different sizes, and they're for stencils, obviously, and then you just stipple the paint over them. But what I did find is that they work incredibly well to work in pastels into your page. So I've selected this really bright blue here, and it's a gorgeous colour, and I'm going to put that over the page and work that in with the stippling brush. So let me bring you in a little closer. Let me put that here. Let me bring you in a little closer if I can get there we go. Okay, so let's work on the top of the page. Zoom out slightly because it's a little close. There we go. So all I'm going to do, as I've done before in my colour-alongs, is with a pair of scissors I'm going to scrape off some of the blue. And it is quite a bright blue, so I'm not going to add too much. I'll put that back in the box for a second. And then with my little, where are you? There. With my little stippling brush, I'm just going to gently work it in. Now this works really well if you just want the illusion of the smoky background that I'm going for. It's going to look horrendous until I get the grey over it and the whole page is finished. But like I say, I have practiced and thought this through, and it does work out really well. And pastels are great because if I fluff up, I can rub it out. However, working this into the page like this, it may not rub out as well as we're used to. But I'm going to keep going. Here's my blue. Right, where I'm going to do some around his tail. Around here. Let's do that. Go right up there. And then what I'm going to do is, with a smoky grey colour, all the gaps where you can see all these splodges, I will fill with grey, so we get the appearance of that smoky background that's in the description. And it's a quick, easy background, but does look really effective when sorry, I'm out of shot. When the page is complete. So let's go back to the Faber-Castells. I can only show you as I got them, and I'm using this one, which is quite dark, but obviously being pastels they don't come out as dark as that. Let's move the page back round. Okay, so where I've got the empty blotchy spaces, I'm just going to put a little bit in, tiny bits, and we can add to it later if need be, because I want to create that illusion of the smoke that they've talked about in the description. Let's put that back in the box for a minute. Okay, can you see? Yeah. Okay, now I'm just going to rub that in. And we will fill the page up with our smoky swirls. And it takes time. You're going to have to layer it up to get the effect that we want. Am I in shot? Yeah. So I'm going to keep going, do this bit with you. Okay. And I'm just gently going to bring that out. You see it's starting to build up. And it's starting to create this smoky background that we've talked about. Now when I'm going close to the dragon, I'm being a little bit more cautious because I'm rubbing it in. Because I'm rubbing it into the page, sorry, I'm going to have to be aware that it might not rub out as well as it would normal pastels, but I'm just going to keep working it. That bit might be a little bit too dark, so I'm going to go in with some blue. But it's not meant to be regimented because it is smoke. So just going to keep building that up. Okay, we're going to do the same down this side, just very quickly. And then I'll go off camera and finish the background. And then I'll come back to you. Like this, is just slowly building it up. I'm sorry if my hand's in the way. It's very difficult because you need to do this with the brush upright. I think you kind of get the, it's not hard. You get the idea. And it does just create this beautiful, blotchy, smoky background. Now I'm going to keep working on that, so it's not finished. And I'm just going to keep layering it up until I get the effect that I want. So, there we are. And then when that's done and I've fixed it, I will we'll start on the dragon with the Neo Colour 2s. Okay, so I'm going to go off and finish that, and then I'll come back to you in a second and we'll carry on. See you in a second. Okay, so background complete. I'm quite pleased with it. And just a side note, just to let you know that I used the mono eraser by Tombow, and it rubbed out perfectly. So I've sealed the pastels in, and we're ready to start on the body. But just very quickly, I was obviously being a little bit dim, and in my lovely box of pastels is a whole colour chart and all the colours that you get. So I have to apologise about that. And so just to let you know that I used middle phthalo blue, and I used cold grey 5, just in case anybody wanted to know. So they're the colours. I did think it was a bit odd for Faber-Castell, so, but there they are. Look, you get a whole list of the colours. So I'm hoping that I might be able to put them back in some order. So it'd be really great. Okay, let's get started then. So we know from the description over here that this part of him is blue, which is what caused him to become extinct. So all these parts. So I selected, because I'm going to go over with coloured pencils to give it some shade, I selected light, where are you? Can you focus? Yay! Light cobalt blue in the Neo Colour 2s. Let's just make sure that we focus back in. Okay, I'm going to bring you in closer and we're just going to fill this in. Give me a sec, I'll find the right switch. Still getting used to this new camera. It's great, but I'm still got to get used to it. 1 second. There we are. There we go. Okay, so I'll just steady the camera. I'm just going to fill where the scales are all in with the what did I say, light cobalt blue. So I'm just going to go all the way over them. And then we can shade with pencils. Neos are great for giving us a base so that we're not using every inch of a Prismacolor pencil, which incidentally is what I'm going to be using on this page. I've done a lot of colouring this month because we've been off, and I've just found it sort of takes me away into a world of my own, and I've really enjoyed it, although I won't say it's my best month of colouring. So my lovely husband this morning, I was trying to work out the best way of setting up my new camera for you guys to be able to see, and for me to be able to see that you're in shot. And he has rigged me up a shelf above my desk. I'm going to do down the front of his legs too, so that my camera can be clamped to that, and then when I'm colouring, and my desk is a little wobbly, it's only a cheap desk, when I'm colouring it doesn't jolt the camera so much. So all I have to do now is, I'm down this leg here, all I have to do now is learn how to use the camera properly. So zooming in and out and stopping it. But it's so much easier, it's great. I just go straight onto, plug it straight into the computer and it's there. So I can upload to YouTube really easily now. So yeah, just all the way up here with his blue. And then I'm going to do the outside of his tail blue. I don't know if that's right, but that's what I've chosen to do. Okay, I'm going to do this head part looks like a bit like a brain. I'm going to do that in blue, and I'm going to do these bits in blue. Be careful. Those in blue, and I think the rest I'm going to do green. We don't want him to be too blue, so where are we? I might do a little bit on here, anywhere we see those scales that they've talked about, they'll be blue. Is that it? Are we? Yep. Okay, I'm going to zoom you out. I'm going to try. Let's see, it's the bottom one. I have to remember it's the bottom one. Okay, so I'll zoom you out because I'm going to use my water brush now. Now, I've got my old dishcloth that I use when I'm using Neos or watercolours of any kind, just to wipe my brush off. Now I have found that when you're using Neocolor 2s, if you don't dissolve the water, the crayon properly, it's really difficult to get pencil over the top, and it can leave like a film. So we can go in a little bit further, I think. There we go. Let's steady you up. Yeah, so it can leave like a bit of a film over your work and make it quite difficult to colour over the top. So I'm just making sure that it's dissolved properly. I'm going to take my crayon here and I'm going to just have a little bit more of the blue. It's quite a pale blue anyway, and compared to the background, but it does give a lovely base for the colours that I'm going to use over the top. So yeah, so I'm just making sure that I've completely dissolved it, and this paper's great. I've tried it on that other copy that I have, that I ordered by accident. I thought it was a different one, because it had a different cover. There's a cream cover and a red cover, and I'd ordered them both. So I have tried water media in this, and it works really, really well. It handles it great, so I have no worries there. So I'm just making sure I'm wiping off in between so I haven't got too much pigment, making sure that I've dissolved all the Neo colour, and I'm hoping you're picking this colour up. It is very pale, but it does give a great base to the colours. Yeah. So I'm just wondering what everyone's been colouring, and I know a lot of people have been saying that they've found it really hard to concentrate and to be motivated to do things during the lockdown, and I get that totally. I have got lots of ideas for videos and things that I would like to do for my channel, but I went through last week a really low stage where I'd been watching lots of YouTube videos as usual, and then my my brain kicks in and says, oh, why are you bothering? You know, you're not as good as other people, what's the point, and all those things. But I didn't do this YouTube channel to be a queen colourist, because I'm never going to be that, like our gorgeous Sammy or Dee Dee. That's just not, probably never going to happen. I did it because I wanted to give back to the community, I wanted to be a part of it, and I think there's quite a few of us out there, correct me if I'm wrong, that are just sort of average at colouring, like me, but do it for the love of it. And I think it's really nice to be able to follow, I'm just going to go back over this bit here. I think it's really nice to be able to follow somebody that you know that you could replicate that image. And I adore Sammy, I really, really do, but I am never going to be of the standard that Sammy is at. So I have to find my own way, and I'm just putting a little bit more pigment on his tummy here. I have to find my own way and what works for me, and I've used a lot of her techniques and the colours she uses for skin and things like that, and I love watching her and taking part in her lives. But I have to get over the fact that I'm never going to be at the level that she's at, so I have to find my own way and be able to do images that I'm going to be pleased and proud of without feeling inferior, if that makes any sense at all. But I'm sure there's people out there that understand that. So I did last week go through this hideous stage of, oh, what's the point? But so far 179 of you have joined me, and I never thought that I would even probably have that. So I felt that because you have subscribed and you've liked and you've left me some beautiful comments, that I needed to keep going for that reason. Right, let me zoom back out. Okay, so pale blue, which you probably can't see because of the very dark background, but it is there. Can you see that? Okay. So the next colour that I've chosen to use for his body, because it says that his body is green, is can't we go to Chromium Oxide Green, Neocolour 2. Let's just let that focus again. Okay, so, and I'm just going to literally do the same again. I might give the pale blue another coat just to deepen that up, but I don't think it's always necessary. Let's zoom back in, and I'm going to do everything that I haven't coloured in blue. I'm going to do the green. Okay, so that bit was there. We were having green. So all of this, minding his teeth. And I'm not too worried about that. I know there's blue on there, but I'm not too worried about that because the pencils will cover that. Bit of green there. And I'm going to literally fill in the rest of him. I'm not being careful. I'm just scribbling it in on down there. This is a lovely green. Really earthy tone. Okay, so everywhere that I didn't put blue in, I'm going to fill with this, what did I say, it was Chromium Oxide Green, and activate that with water. So rather than boring the pants off you, I'll go off camera and do that, and then I'll come back and meet you here when I've finished that and we're ready to do the pencils over the top. Okay, I'll see you in a second. Okay, so I've finished the Neos, and he's dry, and I've done his little friend off in the distance here. Just as a quick tip, I went off to let the page air dry, and I used these little bulldog clips to clamp the page down while it's drying. Let's see if I can take them off. I just got a box of 50, I think, off of Amazon. They're quite cheap, but if you clamp the page down, it just stops with some of that. I've just clamped them all round. So I had like 3, I think, on each side. Let's take all of these off. And like I said, this paper's great anyway, but it just does help to stop any wrinkling on the page. And if you look at that, there's hardly any buckling. It's such good paper, it's magic. Okay, so I want to start on his blue parts, so shading those in with pencils, and I'm going to use Prismacolor Premiers. And the colours that I've chosen, oh no, that's my greens. The colours that I've chosen here are, let me line them up so that we don't have to, okay, are Sky Blue Light, PC 1086, Blue Slate 1024, and Blue Lake 1102. Now, I'm going to start with the Blue Lake PC 1102, and I'm going to start coming down here. So I'm going to bring you in so you can see a bit closer. Look, I'm getting used to this camera. And we're going to start filling it in. I'm going to start here, and we're going to go down here. So literally all I'm going to do is follow the line of the scale very lightly. And these colours blend with the Neo really, really well. I have actually compiled a list of Prismas and some Black Widows that match the Neo colours almost identically. So if you'd be interested in seeing that, I can show that. Okay, the next colour I'm going to put down is Blue Slate. And I'm just going over that blend line. Giving myself a bit of a fade out, can you see? I wonder if I could come in a little closer. Oh no, wait, there we go. Let's try that. Steady the camera, okay. Yeah, so Blue Slate, I'm just going over my blend line. I don't want to cover up the Neo blue that I put down, but I do need him to be quite vivid blue. So now I'm going in with Sky Blue Light, and I'm going to go over, oh, too hard. I'm going to go over the entire thing and blend that into the Neo that we've got. Okay, I'm going to go back into Deepen Up, so back in with the Blue Lake. Giving it a very definitive line there. Oh, excuse me. Too heavy-handed. Told you. Really heavy-handed. And nerves doesn't help. I get nervous and then... Okay, so that was Blue Lake. Now this is Sky Blue Light again. And we're just gonna blend that out into our Neo colour. So I'm going to bring down the Blue Lake a little bit further, just lightly. There we are. Okay, that's one done. And then we're going to do the same process So Blue Lake. Yeah, I panicked then, I thought I picked up the wrong colour. Blue Lake. This is going to be quite laborious because you're going to have to do each individual scale. But I think it's worth it. And it's very relaxing when you know what colours you're using. You haven't got to keep choosing. You can just sort of mindlessly go on. Okay. Now I haven't decided yet whether on his body these, can you see here, where am I, here, I don't know if these little scaly warty bits are going to be in blue or in green yet. I want a good contrast of colour. What's happened there? Brought in some, there we go. A bit of muck on my blue pencil, I think. There we go. And then just deepen it up again. So, Blue Lake. And Blue Slate. Bring that down a little further. Yeah, so if any of you are interested in my compiled list of colours that match the Neocolour 2s, it really helps if you want a smooth gradient, and you can use the Prismas then to go over the top to create that smooth illusion. Yeah, just email me or leave a comment down below and I'll get on that. Okay. I'm just coming down a bit further with the Blue Slate or Slate Blue. And then filling it in with Sky Blue Light. There. Can you see? Okay, so I'm going to do that all the way around his tummy. Let's do a little bit on his legs, shall we? So again, he's got like these little thin stripes, so I'm going to do that entirely in the Blue Lake, and then just underneath it I'm going to do Slate Blue. There we are, and then the Sky Blue Light. And then repeat the process. So, Blue Lake. Why can't I hold these colours in my head? As soon as I get on video, I can't remember anything I'm doing. There we go. Come down here. Then the Blue Slate, or Slate Blue, Lucy. Okay. Sky Blue Light. Ah. So that's how I'm going to do his legs. Let's zoom back out. Okay. Now I'm going to do all round his tail, all up round his tail. I'm going to do the Blue Slate on the outside of his tail and come in with those paler colours. And the same round here. Now all I'm going to do on this is outline the little scales with my darkest colour and then come in on each one. So it is quite laborious, but I don't want you to have to sit around and watch me colour all that in. I think you get the idea. So I'm going to go off, fill in all those blues, and then I'll come back and meet you and we'll start on the green. Okay, I'll see you in a second. Okay guys, so labour of love in terms of the blue is complete. And yes, it took some time. Now, I'm a bit concerned that the page might be looking a little bit, let me just switch that lamp off, that the page might be looking a little bit dull. So I have decided that I'm going to do these little warts or scales in blues when we finish the greens. So let me get the greens together and then I'll line them up and I'll show you what we're going to use. Okay, so here we are. Okay, got Prussian Green 109, Jade Green 102, can't see, 1, and Celadon Green 1020. Now, I'm going to start, as usual, with the shading, where the artist has given us shading. I'm going to come up round his tail. So let me bring you in, and then we can get started. Okay. Move my book over so you can see what I'm doing. Here we are. Okay, so I'm going to start here with my Prussian Green, which is the darkest of the colours that I've got. And as we did before, I'm going to give a nice shadow to these parts here. Okay, keep going. I'm going to go all the way up his tail with this Prussian Green. I really have fallen in love with this book, and it's been sat on my shelf for some time, and I'm not really sure why. But I really, the paper, like I say, it's like magic. It's like Kirby's paper. The pencils just seem to glide on it with no effort. And sorry, I'm stumbling over my words. The designs are so intricate and beautifully drawn that I can't fail to fall in love with it. Okay. Alright, so I've come up one side, as you can see, with the Prussian Green. Now I'm going to go in with Jade Green, and as we did for the blue, I'm going to go back over the edge of that. And I'm missing out those warts where I can, or scales. Can you see I'm not in your way? And keep going all the way up. Just gently filling that in. Sorry. Let's move you right down so we can finish the tail to make sure that you're in shot. I'm going to fill that bit in. Okay, back down to the bottom again, And then I'm picking Celadon Green, and I'm going to fill that in just so all the little lines that you can see get filled in. And this will help us fade in to the chromium oxide green that we'd laid down with the Neo. And I'm just lightly scumbling that in. To blend all those beautiful colours together. And fading it out so it just disappears into that chromium oxide green. Can you see? Yeah. There we go. And we'll just fill in that last little edge with it. There, on his tail. There. Okay, so that's one side. I'm going to go up the other side. So back to our Prussian Green. I'm just going to very carefully fill in these little, just checking you can see, fill in these lines. Turning my pencil back round to the sharper point. Filling in this little horned bit. Let's move back down so you can see. Now there's less lines here, but I do want to give it that indication of colour, and again, like I've said, that dark on the edge will help to indicate that this is rounded and not just a flat object. So I'm going to come right up into there, even though we've already filled that piece in. A little bit of dark around the edges here. There. Okay, then back in with our Jade Green. So I've had a really lovely day today. The weather in the UK here has been fantastic, and my husband did a barbecue for me, which was really lovely, although it was only the two of us and I couldn't have any family, obviously, because of the restrictions at the moment regarding the virus. We had a really lovely meal and sat in the sunshine, and it was just lovely. So I hope you've been enjoying the weather. If where you are it's lovely too, I hope it is. Okay, and then Celadon Green. And we're just going to bring that into, fade it out into that chromium oxide green. And it will hopefully just disappear into that. Just give him some depth and a bit of shape. But leaving our beautiful chromium oxide green in the centre. We just move that, that's better. Okay. So I'm going to, where should we do now? Let's do his wing. Okay, Prussian Green. Now, I'm going to fill that dark piece in here with the Prussian Green all the way up there. It's too fine to try and get different colours in there. And then the same with this one. Bring that down, following the lines that we've been given. Same here. I'm trying to avoid those little warty areas. Come up on here. Okay, well, let's switch to our Jade Green. And fill that bit in. And I think there's enough room here to fill that bit in. Jade in there as well. That's better. Okay, and then our final colour, which is Celadon Green, and just go over that and blend that through. There's the top of one little wing, sorry, wart. Okay, let's do this bit. So all these dark areas are obviously going to be our dark Prussian Green. So I'm going to follow the design round. And here. There we are. I'm going to go in with our Jade. And on this side too. Bring that down. And then our Celadon Green and blend that out. And let that just disappear into the chromium oxide. There we are. Back up here to this piece, I just want to add a little bit more there. And then some round here. Okay. See the difference between the bit that's not shaded and the bit that we've just done? Makes a huge difference. So there's a little bit under here. Let's do this bit together. I'll switch into my darkest colour, Prussian Green. And you'll see, if you have this book and you are going to follow along, you'll see all the sketch lines that we've been given. And a bit like my last colour along, I'm using the artist's work to guide me. I'm not an artist, as I say, I'm never going to be an artist. So I have to rely on the good work that they have done. They know better than I do. Okay. And then Celadon Green, and again, let it disappear into the chromium oxide. Just blend that out. There we are. Now there's a little bit of lines here that indicate the sort of shape of his body, so I'm just going to go very lightly around that with the Prussian Green and then flick some colour up. And then again Jade Green. I'm just flicking colour in there. I don't want it to just look like a block that we've just stuck in the middle of his body. So I'm just kind of flicking the colour in there, and then I'm going to take our Celadon Green and just again blend it out, let it disappear. Okay, let me zoom you back out and we'll have a look at that. Okay, there he is. So, the same as we did the rest of the blues and what we've achieved with his tail, I'm going to do with the rest of the body. So I'm going to go round the edges to give him the illusion of being round. Follow in all these little dark lines but lightly, and then flick the colour in just so that it doesn't look like a block of colour stuck in the middle of his body. So I will complete that, and then I'll come back to you and we will sort out the rocks down here, the skeleton and his teeth, and then we'll be more or less finished. Okay, so I'll see you in a little while. Okay guys, so I've finished the green and I've done a couple of things to make the video a little bit shorter and speed us along a little bit. One of the things you'll notice that I've done is the little blue scales or warts. I wanted them to stand out a little bit. I've also gone in and basted the rock with Caran d'Ache, Neocolour, can you see, light grey. You don't need to see me do that to know what to do now. You've seen me do the dragon himself. So let's zoom in. And let me make sure that you're in view. And I thought if we can just do those few together. I'm using the same colour that I did on his body. So I'm going in with let me just check. Blue Lake. Sorry that I've sharpened them down. They no longer have the name on them. So Blue Lake, and I'm just putting it around the bottom. And then Slate Blue. And then the Sky Blue Light. And that's how I did them. So we just finished those off. Some of them they were so tiny that I just did with the darkest of the blues, the Blue Lake. And some of them have got enough space for you to be able to squeeze in all three colours. So I left these the biggest of all of them so I could do them with you and you could see what colours I used and how I did it. So obviously a channel on YouTube is nothing without its subscribers. So I've been thinking while I've been working through this page and getting it ready to film the next part, I wonder if you'd be kind enough to tell me in the comments or email me any ideas that you would like, any pages that you would like to see coloured in particular, and with what supplies, and then I can try and see if I can do that for you. That would be really helpful for me to know what it is that you'd like to see. And if it's something that I've never done or I'm not sure about, we can learn that together. So the other thing I wanted to mention very quickly is one of my subscribers. Her name is Naomi, and she's been with me almost since day one, and she has never failed to comment on my videos, and she's left such lovely comments, and has been out and brought the very nice colouring book that I did. And it's just, I've been, like I say, really down in the dumps this week, and it was so nice to hear that my colouring has actually reached somebody and has been of some value. So a big thank you to Naomi. Okay, so there are all his, let's come back out again. She's learning. There are all his blue dots. Let's steady the camera. So we've got his teeth to do. Let's do those. Now I chose, let me line them up again so I'm not wasting so much time. Cream, PC914, and yellow ochre, 942. So I'll go back in. Okay, there, let's do this big one. So I'm going to go around the top and round the side, and then I'm just going to blend that out very lightly with a bit of cream. There. Every good dragon needs a little bit of dental plaque. Considering this one can't breathe fire, and he eats mainly humans, I would think that his teeth would be pretty rank. So yeah, there we go. I just want them to have a hint of colour really. I don't want them to be like overly yellow. Switching to the cream. There we are. Let's do these last ones. I think he's meant to look fierce, but I don't think he does. If anything, he looks a little bit more like Pete's dragon. If you've seen that movie, it's very sad. Blend that one out a bit more. Do you do that when you're colouring? You'll be colouring along with something and then look back and not be happy with something and have to alter it immediately. Okay, that's his teeth done. Teeth done. Right, while we're in position and close up, shall we do his eyes? Now I've chosen mineral orange 1033 and yellow ochre for this job. Where are we? There we go. Mineral orange, yellow ochre. So let's just let me focus back in. There we go. 1033 and 942. Now with the mineral orange, I'm going to go round the very edge of his eyeball. Oh no! She did it again! God. Gives him a bit of a googly eye. Makes it pop out a little bit, which is what I want. Around the edge. Maybe a little bit deeper at the top. There we go. Look, like he looks a bit more fierce now. And then go in with the yellow ochre and see if I can do it without snapping the pencil. There we go. Yeah, it's a little bulgy eyeball. So now he looks a little bit more fearsome now. And then I'm just going to blend that in with a bit of cream. There we go. And then we have his little eyeballs. Okay. Now, the stonework here, very simple, the same as we did the dragon. I'm going to come out slightly just so you've got a bit more of a visual of the page. There we go. The stonework, yeah, it's dry now. Like I say, I've basted it with light grey and let it dry. And then just the same as we've done with the rest of the page, I'm going to bring in some warm greys. Now I've got 70% warm grey, 30% warm grey and 10% warm grey. There you go. PC 1050, 1051 and 1056. There we go. And it's just the same as we've done the rest of the page. I'm going to start at the top with my darkest colour and bring that round. Yeah, so please let me know what you'd like to see on the channel. Like I said earlier, I'm not an artist, I'm just an average colourist who's enjoying being on YouTube, being part of the community, but I would willingly give anything you'd like to see a shot. So in with 30%, yeah. Have I got that right? Yeah. Sorry, I was just, it's like a obsession, making sure that I've got the right colour and I don't go in with the wrong one. So same as we've done before, filling that all in. I'm going to come down a little further with this one, because we've got this shading. Back over here. And I'm going to fill up, keep going with that 30% and fill up those shaded lines. So one other ask that I've got of you is I'm going back in with the 70%. I'm just going to darken that up and also make a better blend line there. So one other ask I've got of you is, could you please let me know if you are happy to see the video in one long video, because I'm more than happy to do it that way, or if you'd like to see it in parts so it's a it's not so long. I'm happy either way, but I would rather know what your thoughts are. If you could do that for me, that would be really helpful also. Thank you. Okay, then back in with the 30% and just make sure we blend that out. Okay. There we are. Okay, then down the bottom where we finished here, we're going to go in with the 10%. Now that should blend really well. With our light grey from the Neos. There we are. Now, like I was talking about earlier with matching colours up, the Neos sometimes, if you can sometimes leave a bit of a streak or crayon marks. Not always, but they do. This is an example of matching the colours up to an almost invisible theme. I'm just going to go over that. I think I went, can you see? No. I think I dragged out some of that blue when I was putting in the grey. Yeah, so this is an almost invisible colour to use over the top of the neo light grey, and you can just smooth it out. Take away your pencil crayon marks, and it will just give it a very smooth appearance. So that was 3 things I've asked of you in this video then. Let me know if you want to see that. Just going to take it up there even though that rocks. Okay, that's how I'm going to do those. So I'm going to fill in his eye, this little guy's eye, down here. Same as we did for the big guy. Blend it with a little bit of cream. So I'm going to take, let me move all my stuff. I'm going to take henna, because his little tongue's poking out. I'm going to put henna in there. Let me just get that. Henna and a bit of light peach. So I'm just going to go in there with the henna. And let me get my light peach. So I'm sorry, that was, let me line those up, I'm jumping the gun. Light peach and henna, 927 and 1031, and that just gives a really nice fleshy tone. Then his teeth are so tiny. I'm just gonna give it a very light colouring of the yellow ochre. Never get in there unless I had particularly steady hands, and I don't. So we'll just give it the illusion of colour. There we are. That's the little fella filled in. Now, where are we? We've got the bones left. And his claws. So claws again. I did yellow ochre. I'm pretty sure that's what I did in my trial run. Let me just check. Yeah, I did. I did yellow ochre down here. Okay, yeah. In this part. Around here. Around here. Can you still see? Yeah. And there's a little, like, a dew claw up here. I'm going to put the yellow ochre in there. Okay, now this might sound odd, but it does work. I'm going to go in with the very palest of the grey into here that we've just used, so the 10% warm grey. On those parts that I hadn't coloured. And then my cream. That just dulls down the cream. Stops it being too bright. There. think it gives a bit of a sheen look, so they're not so flat. So let's do that again. So I'm going to go around here with my yellow ochre. Check it on my annual way, a little bit round here. And I might just, where the claw comes out. Let's go back and do those. We'll do these tiny bits. Is it not the devil is in the detail, they say? Okay. Finish. Yeah, yellow ochre. And give it that around here. Alright, now 10% warm grey, just very lightly. All we want it to, we don't want to overdo it, we just want that to help dull down that cream. There we are. Because the cream in the prismas can come across quite yellow, as you'll know if you watch my Very Mice colouring book tutorial. I used it as lemonade. There. Okay, nice set of claws. Now, the last thing I want to do with you quickly is the bones, and I'm going to use French greys for those because they're more of a warm colour, and I'm hoping that I'll get away with, I don't want 90%, that's for sure. I'm going to use 70%, 50% and then 10% for blending. So let me line them up. Give me a second. Here we are. Here we go. Where are you? There you are. So 70% French grey. You're going to focus for me? 70% French grey, 50% French grey and 10% French grey. 1074, 1072 and 1076. Focus, thank you. Right, now bones is something I've never coloured before. So this could be this could go all mightily wrong. Okay, so I'm going to do the same as I've done the rest of the page, and I'm going to do very lightly round here in where the shadows are going to be with my darkest, in those sockets, a little bit round where the teeth go, there, and then I'm going to bring in the 50%. Back in all those places that are going to be dark. And then I'm going to take I'm just going to sharpen the 10% because this is so tiny. And then I'm just going to blend that. Ah. Okay. Doesn't look too bad. Alright, let's do the rest. Well, this is getting smaller and smaller, so it's going to be harder to get this to blend. There we are. There we go. And then blend that out. Okay. These last ones, gosh, this is really tiny. So So I'm going to put the dark one down. Okay. And then I'm going to try and squeeze in the next colour there. And on this one, I'm just going to put the 10% overlap. Or I might try and squeeze in. There. Okay. Let's zoom out. Okay, right, what I'm going to do is just going to go off. All that's left now to do is finish the rocks. You don't want to see me shading with greys when you've already watched me do that part. I'm going to finish that off and then I'll meet you back here when the whole page is complete. I'll see you in a second. Okay, page all complete. There he is. One Dragonsaurus Rex. I'm really happy with how he turned out. I hope you've enjoyed colouring along with me and you'll stick around. Maybe consider subscribing if you haven't already, and leave me a comment. So I'll say goodnight, and until next time, take care of yourselves and I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.